This weekend marks the first North American visit of the year for the Formula One circuit. And earlier in Canada, we saw qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix on Speed Vision, and we saw Michael Schumacher take the pole literally on the last possible moment. So after Le Mans is over today in an hour or so, grab a few hours of sleep, set the alarm for 12:30 p.m., that's Eastern time, for the pre-race show. Calling the race this weekend will not be David and me, it'll be Bob Varsha with former Benetton mechanic Steve Matchett. So it'll be quite interesting to hear the analysis from that perspective. It's the Canadian Grand Prix live on Speed Vision this afternoon.
And let's go live right now to Calvin with Ron Fellows.
Okay, well, let's just pull him out to the outside of the garage. Ron, it's been a tough day for you, mate. Justin's gone down, dehydration. You and Chris are now single stealing, training off. Last time in the car. What do you think about the first time here with the vet program?
Well, it's been a tremendous environment here. Incredible atmosphere. I just wish it wasn't so bloody hot. But it's the same for everybody. It's been a real struggle.
Seemed like you guys had the fastest car on the racetrack in class, certainly, but just those little niggly problems that set you back.
Yeah, we just, we got caught out on a pace car deal once, and then, we'll take a look at the strategy that the Vipers use. They seem to get ahead of us in being able to run longer on a set of tires. So we'll look at that. We were trying to double stint. We just got behind.
Okay, mate, great performance. Great to see you. I know Gary Pratt wants you to get in the car, so get ready, mate. Thanks.
Interesting, Ron says it's the same for everybody. It's not the same for everybody. Those cars are hotter than probably any other cars here. Those cars and the Vipers. If he saw Alan McNish after he got out after a triple stint and not a bead of sweat on him.
Michele after a four stint.
Exactly. And when you think that last year Audi ran both a coupe and an open car and decided on an open car, I mean, it was for specific engineering reasons, but how well that worked out for them too, because it obviously has meant driver comfort of a very high degree here.
It really does. Now, we mentioned the effort that we at Speed Vision put in to put this race on. Just think of what happens around the local villages here. Alone, there are 285 Metro policemen and detectives come in just for security. They draft in 500 national troopers just to keep an eye on the spectators, and then outside the perimeter of the racetrack they have 450 highway patrolmen just trying to get this 250,000 strong crowd in and out of this place they call Le Mans.
Now these are people that Derek has counted by himself one by one. It was laborious and we missed him at dinner, but this is an accurate count, am I right?
Yes, it is an accurate count, and I also happen to know that they had 100 tons of garbage left behind after last year's race.
Which you personally
Half of it must be in here.
Which I personally did not weigh, but I did see most of it.
Yeah, because most of it's in here, all this paperwork lying around on the floor.
So if you're just waking up in North America, good morning, happy Father's Day. We have been up all night bringing you unprecedented coverage on Speed Vision here as you watch one of the Cadillacs come in. Let me take a quick rundown of the U.S. stories of interest, apart from the ones that we have watched, the Corvette, and now we see the Cadillac still running here. But David Murray, in the number 82 Porsche 911, they are still running. They're 21st overall, and they are running 4th in class. David Murray is with Johnny Molam and Sasha Masson. The number 75 car, which is also the Gunnar Jeanette, Michael Lauer, Michael Brockman. We updated that story earlier on, 28th overall, 7th in class. They will do the last lap of the race to be classified as a finisher. The number 71 car, run by Mike Calucci, had a huge crash earlier in the race. It was driven by Shane Lewis. He was taken to hospital. He had back and neck problems, as we still continue to watch the Cadillac here, but Kurt Wagner and Bob Mazzucola had a short day. It was not Shane Lewis's fault. He went off on somebody else's oil. The number 60 car, which carried Tommy Kendall and Charlie Slater, are still running. They are in P15. They are 6th in class. As you move on back to the number 32 car, which is the Multimax Canadian car, we have kept you reasonably updated on this car. They're in P29 overall and 1st in class. That is a new lightweight P class. Stefan Johansson brought his car here from Indianapolis with Jim Matthews. They had a huge engine blow up in the middle of the night. They are out. They were running in the top 5 at the time. The number 12 car carries Johnny O'Connell, who has now moved to Atlanta. They are still running. They are about 25 laps behind the leader. They are running 5th overall. Mario Andretti and David Brabham and Jan Magnussen are in the number 11 car. We documented earlier they are 48 laps behind the leader. They are still running at 14th, but Mario Andretti had a huge moment, dodged a huge bullet at 190 miles an hour, left the road, crashed when a mechanical failure on the left front put him into the barrier on the run down to Indianapolis. The Wayne Taylor Cadillac is still running. Barely. It's in 25th position. And the number 1 Cadillac with Butch Leitzinger as our American interest on board is P24, running again, although they have an enormous amount of problems. But remember, it is a test session for those boys. But there's been huge American interest here, particularly in the Viper and the Corvette battle. And the GM involvement in Le Mans this year has really been enormous.
Well, we've had a lot of involvement from Ford, because we've got Ford engines in all those Panos's, which are running still at the front there. One's in 5th spot, one's in 6th spot. But as you say, the main battle has been between the Chrysler Vipers and, of course, the Corvettes. The Corvettes are going to have to go away and do a little bit of homework now to be more successful. As you rightly observed, they have actually squeaked in a couple of laps quicker than any of the Viper laps, but the Vipers are just generally quicker.
So we are going to slip away. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to somebody who has had not an easy run, but a very organized run here at Le Mans. They're leading their class. It's Lucas Luhr.
Well, I'm sorry to be really boring, but I think for any driver to win Le Mans is the most outstanding part about Le Mans. We all come here every year. It's the biggest race of the year for a sports car driver, and if you can actually manage to win it, it's a wonderful feeling. And of course, that year I was with Jaguar, and all the British fans were waving the flags, and it was quite a moment. I've been trying to do it ever since. I've got very close several times, but never actually managed to win it.
Andy Wallace, probably now regarded as one of the finest and certainly most successful long-distance sports car racers in the world. Of course, wanted to go to Formula 1, was very successful in the British Formula 3 Championship. As you watch the number 63 Corvette just outside the top 10, running 11th. But we're going to take a chance now to visit with another one of our special guests. It is Lucas Luhr, who was one of the drivers in the number 83 911 GT. We have followed Dick Barber racing quite a bit through this show. Lucas Luhr is one of the Porsche Junior Team drivers. He's only 20 years of age. And Lucas, this is your first Le Mans. What's your impression of the track here at Le Mans?
Yeah, the track is, for me, it's really difficult because you're here the first time with the car. You have still quite a high speed, and you know, you have to get used to it.
A big complaint this year has been it's been so hot. How hot is it inside that car? I mean, is this as hot a race as you've ever had?
No, we had Sebring this year. It was about 78 degrees in the car, Celsius, and now it's about 60, 65 degrees.
So it's easy today.
Wow. No, not easy, but it's not as hot as Sebring, but it's still hot. I mean, we stay about 3 hours in the car, and it's really, really hot and really hard to keep concentration.
For those Americans, 78 degrees centigrade is a cool 170 Fahrenheit.
Inside the car.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was hotter in these Corvettes.
Now, it was very slippery though this year. The track was slippery and there was a lot of debris, gravel, oil, and bits of carbon fiber on them. Did you have any trouble with that? I mean, so many punctures and you've had none, right?
No, but I also missed a chicane once last night. I think it was about 4 o'clock. The chicane were really full oil and water and old rubber, everything really, really dirty, and many gravels because a lot of cars spin in front of me, and you have to be really, really careful.
Tremendous amount of rolled up rubber. This ride here, for instance, the chicane down the end. Have you had a problem with that, overtaking people and being overtaken when you're forced offline into that rubber?
Yeah, when the prototype is coming from the back, you have to keep the line clear, and then you have to go to on the gravel, and it's really danger because for the coolers, and so the small stones can destroy your coolers.
I think that's something people don't understand fully, is that a lot of times a slower car wants to pull offline, but literally can't because there's nowhere to run that's clean and safe.
Yeah.
Lucas, your background is in go-karting. You've been through Formula 3, single-seaters. Now that you're contracted to Porsche in their junior team, does that change the direction of your career? Do you now look to sports cars, or do you still have an ambition to go into single-seaters again?
Well, at 98, I did, together with my father, Formula 3 racing in Germany, and we had not that money for being in front, and then asked Porsche to being or give me a chance to being a Porsche works driver. So I said, yeah, of course, because otherwise maybe my career is finished. And I really like to drive for Porsche in the junior team. It's, you know, for me it doesn't matter what for race car I drive. It's just the fun to be a racer, you know. I like it.
Have you enjoyed racing in America this year?
Yeah, really, because the people are so different, you know. They are more enthusiastic than the European people. Also here, it's a fantastic fans here at night. You see it all along the track. It's really cool.
Lucas, thank you for taking the time to come and join us. We hope it stays reliable and that you can take home a win in the GT category. Lucas Luhr, who drives for Dick Barber Racing, the leader in the GT category, and we'll be right back. We are back at the two Panoz cars in tandem come in for a pit stop. That is Johnny O'Connell in the car, and we now have less than 40 minutes to go. So Johnny O'Connell will do a double stint and stay in that car. That is number 12. They are in 5th place. They are 2 laps clear of the number 23 Panoz, which is the Team Dragon car with the Japanese drivers behind them. The number 11 car, which is driven by Magnussen now, that Andretti drove earlier on, is in right behind him. They are no longer a threat. They are something like 15 laps behind the 5th place Panoz, and they are almost 30 laps behind the leading Audis.
With that said, though, Panoz is having their best ever run at Le Mans, and it may be, given the current configuration of the car, about all you could really expect. I mean, for them to be going up against the might of Audi, who has, of course, outspent them, it's really a David and Goliath situation.
And it really is. I mean, I mentioned at the top of the show in my on-camera, it's not since 1962 as a front-engine car won at Le Mans. In fact, engines in the back have 37 wins here from 1963 to 99. In other words, every year since 63. There is 30 wins from 1923 to 62. But you know what? In this day and age, it is really difficult to make a front-engine car work because of the balance. Now, next year, or in fact, at the end of this year at Adelaide, they hope to debut their brand new car with a Zytec designed and built racing engine, 4-liter, smaller package, lighter. It'll still be in the front, but the frontal area of the car will be smaller. Perhaps that will take them a step closer. But this car here, the Audi, is the trendsetter. The Panoz cars right now are as quick, or maybe quicker at times, than the new Lola and the Reynard. But this is the trendsetter here. This is the one that has set the mark for everybody to catch up to and then hopefully beat someday.
The Audi really has a center section. You can see it here with 2 pontoons, which contain the, so to speak, fenders and wheels. Those pontoons, because of the rules, are joined to that center section with flat body parts, but the air flows along the side of that central part between the side of the car and the pontoons.
Well, that was a quick view of an onboard camera. This is on board with the TV Asahi Panoz car, the Team Dragon cars. And you can just see, I love watching the gear changing. That's what fascinates me about this whole thing.
And you can see some of those big chunks of rubber that
that was a big chunk.
Just alluded to.
When you look inside, people think you just drive easy, you just drive around, but there is so much work the driver has to do when they're inside these cars.
Also, check the landscape going by in the background.
Yeah, look at the radio. fact, you know, I think the radio is disconnected on his car.
I think everything looked like it was disconnected. I think
Yeah.
his bottle, his pipe was disconnected, his drink pipe. Lucas Law, of course, who we just had in, a lad of 20. If you add him and Dirk Muller's age together, you could still put a 12-year-old boy in before you reach Bob Wallick's age.
This is the number 22 car. That's Akira Aida. Akira Aida comes to us from Japan. He's aged 30 years of age. He's been here 3 times in the past, and they have had a good, reliable run. In fact, TV Asahi are only 4 booths down from us, and they have done a live television show with on-air presenters right here in a makeshift studio following the progress of these 2 boys. So they have had a very good, reliable run, and car number 22 at the moment is in 8th position, so well into the top 10. And good for them.
And their team car, number 23, is in 6th position, so they're having a tremendous run with those 2 Panoz.
And Christian Abt now brings the number 7 Audi in for what will be, will this be the last stop? Yeah, I believe it will. Yes. Their very last pit stop. Calvin?
35 minutes to go.
Calvin?
Christian Abt is in. They're not allowing us too close. They expect another car in here shortly, the number 8 machine, I believe. Christian Abt is staying in the car. That looks like they are going to change tires, so the 7 car will be staying there for a few more seconds. They're waiting for the fuel to be put into the car. I can't see quite from here when it's going to gurgle, and they're going to actually then go to the tires, but the number 8 car will be in right behind it, and that will be the lead of the race. 7 car is up on the wheels. The 8 car is in as we speak. We're going to go down there. So the leader is in, driven by Manuel Pirro. He's going to be looking for his first victory here at Le Mans. Christensen has won before, so if we have the same driver lineup next year, 7 of these Audi pilots will be previous winners. Right now they have 5. Next year it could be 7. And it looks like routine tires at the ready. I do not believe they're going to change them on this number 8 machine. They're still waiting for the last drops of fuel. They'll probably put a full fuel load on it, even though they will not need it. Just over 30 minutes left. Pirro leaves, hopefully to the checkered flag.
And of course, one of the desires by a manufacturer is, when you're this dominant, is to run in formation. We did it with the Jaguars in 1988 when Jan Lammers led. I was right behind him in the 4th place car, and Davy Jones tucked in behind us. We ran the last 3 laps, headlights ablaze, in formation. The steamroller continues. They are calling number 9, driven by Alan McNish, in. That has been the fastest car of the race here, time and time again. 8 of the 10 fastest laps have been put in by McNish in that car. Sam?
Well, we have another email here, and I just want to say Kurt Freeman has emailed us that so many of the people who send in emails have wished us good luck and said how much they enjoyed the coverage, and we thank all of those correspondents very much. What Kurt asks is for all you experienced guys in the booth, and I assume that means you and David, I'd like to know what the longest period between drivers' stints is, as well as the shortest. Now, I know the shortest has got to be Lord Selsdon relieving Luigi Canetti in 1949 for 20 en route to their victory. That has to be about the shortest. And I think the longest might be, well, certainly Pierre Levay in 50, going almost 23 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out of my depth when you go back that far, but it was about 10 years ago you could do this race with 2 drivers.
Yeah.
I mean, in the heyday of the Porsche 956, etc.
We always used to do it with 2 drivers.
2 drivers, exactly, yeah. And then it became...
You weren't allowed to run more than 14 hours, so you had to really split it up. And you weren't allowed to run more than 4 in a go.
Consecutive.
And with those cars, you could just about do a 3-hour and 55-minute run, which is what you tried to do, so that the guy who wasn't driving could at least get his head down and attempt to sleep, because by the time the noises stopped running around your head, time to get up again.
And the reason you could run that long, of course, was the fuel tanks in those days were much, much larger than they are now. Now it is a 90-litre limit, which means no matter how much fuel you put into it, the maximum you can go is about 50 minutes. Of course, the reason they went to 3 drivers and sometimes 4 drivers is because the physical effort went up so much.
Well, of course, the physical effort went up just gigantically when the Porsche 956 came along, and the Porsche 962s, which had tunnels and proper ground effects. And from anything previous to that, the effort to drive went up enormously, and it was round about then that they started to come into the 3 and sometimes 4 drivers per car. Previous to that, the G-force was so immaterial that you could you could drive around here.
And this is the Courage. Of course, this is where the French hope lies. Germany
good hope
leads.
it is, too.
Yeah, Germany leads. Germans, in fact, Germans have 18 wins here. Second is England with 16 wins. France has been successful here 14 times. The Italians have won 13 times here. The good old US of A have actually been successful here 4 times. And Switzerland and Japan have 1 win apiece.
We have Calvin standing by, but Calvin, before we get to that, the Americans, of course, were the first to spray champagne in Victory Lane, so their win was historically
And it was
significant.
great.
Gurney and Foyt. Calvin?
Well, McNish is in, and he's going to be terribly disappointed. It looks like he may fall a little short in this one, as he did last year. Been in the favourite car, been the fastest car once again. But Allen's behind the wheel. He'll be giving it its all in these final 27 minutes or so. But the 8 car, if it doesn't have problems, it's going to take victory here today. But Allen certainly gave it one. And I spoke to him late last night. He had the under tray come loose on the back of the car. I said, it's not hurting you too bad, Allen. And he was very agitated. He said, we cannot afford these things. It's going to cost us victory. And he was really prophetic with that statement.
Well, I know that all the top drivers in the world, the winning drivers, when you mention the word luck, they always say, I don't need luck. It's, you make your own luck. Look at that. The hood come off that.
Yeah, and he stood on the brakes immediately. He cannot see where he's going. Can he lean down below it?
What is he going to do? This is second place in GT.
That's the one that just kicked the windscreen out, and it obviously built up a tremendous amount of pressure inside the car.
Wow.
It's going to keep happening.
Well,
I mean,
he might know that.
He's not going to be able to go.
What's he going to do? Stick his head out the window and drive around 8.5 miles.
Oh, boy. That's going to be a thrilling lap.
Okay, he is second place in the GT category. So how far ahead is he? He's a lap ahead of the number 73 Porsche.
He's got to stand on the gas.
Team Tassan Advan, which is the Japanese boys, Yogo, Fukuyama, and Lambert. So he is ahead of those boys. He's going to have to do 8.5 miles with his head out the window, door open, and the bonnet up, and the windscreen gone.
Charming.
Wow.
It might generate quite a lot of downforce, though. That's a high downforce configuration.
That's
you know what?
a high down, but it's not a very good rear viewing configuration.
Or
He's not going to have
front
any idea what's coming up behind him.
It's a lot of drag, and I dare him to take it out of second gear. Look
Boy, oh boy. He
this.
is giving it a terrific effort, though, knowing that his position is at stake, and he has got to drive this thing as fast as he possibly can in this awkward situation.
And for our emailer earlier on, there's the fuel tank in the front of the 911.
Now, of course, the thing is, this guy has taken his belt off. I mean, he is exposing himself to the most horrendous danger here. If he runs off the road and even has a slight accident, he's going to get thrown out of that already open door.
So as the second place car, the number 81, crippled 911 in the GT class, tries to make it around to the pits. We're going to slip away, but we'll be right back. We're back looking at Didier Thays. This thing spent a lot of time in the pit lane. Didier Thays drafted in not too long ago, actually.
Former Indianapolis driver.
Yeah, Indy Lights champion, drives the Ferrari Doran Special in America, or the Dallara Judd, whatever you want to call it.
Didier Thays is the kind of driver who has great warmth and personality, but does not seek publicity.
No.
He does not thrust himself into the limelight.
Moved to the States about, I'm going to guess, 10 years ago. Might be a little bit more. His wife, Florence, they live in Phoenix. And really has pursued a career in America. Has come back to Europe every now and then for drives such as this. As you look at the WR racing team, believe it or not, these boys, which is a small private effort, they are in second place in the 675 category. They were on the pole here about 6 years ago, I believe, because this car is so incredibly fast down the straight. And of course, on the long Mulsanne straight, they were able to pick up so much time, they actually put themselves on the pole. Now, this is Fabio Babini.
He's up to the Porsche curves already. He's getting on it.
Fabio Babini still, remember, it's 8.5 miles long. He knows he's a lap ahead. I don't know where the windshield went in that car, but I will tell you something else. unless they get that rear window out of this thing, he's not going to be able to go fast in that anyway.
They kicked the windscreen out of the last pit stop for some reason or other.
Okay, well, it was a major mistake to think, without taking the rear window
here's
out,
trouble. Here's
that
trouble.
they were actually going to be able
Did
to
not see that Viper.
to run that thing at any type of speed at all. There'll be such an enormous aerodynamic buildup inside. I mean, it'll just pop the side windows out of that thing.
All right, we see here the McNish Audi back out of the pits trying to make up the ground, the fastest Audi, but the one that has encountered the most trouble. You know, Derek, only 3 teams through Le Mans history have managed to finish 1, 2, 3. Jaguar did it in 57, Porsche in 82, Peugeot in 93. But all these teams had been in the race at least twice before and had been seasoned by disappointment. Audi has appeared on this scene like a rocket. They finished 3rd and 4th last year, and now they appear to be on their way to a 1, 2, 3.
Look at this here.
And of course they had a 1-2 at Sebring 12 hour earlier this year, so their year is getting up to a pretty good start.
So this is an open top Porsche we just saw sit sideways. That might be the first ever side saddle lap we saw at Le Mans. It did a full lap.
A new side saddle lap record.
Hanging out the door. They've got to take the windows out of this thing. It is not going to be able to survive at any type of speed with that windscreen gone. I'm surprised they don't kick a window out of this thing.
Also, they've got to get the pins in the front of it.
And they've got to put his seat belts back on.
At the very least, they've got to open those side windows.
Yeah, to release those seat belts to get him into that thing. Fabio Babini. Well, he got his name, or he got his picture in the magazines, having just done that lap. Now, I'm really curious when he gets this thing above 100 miles an hour, A, what it feels like, and whether those side windows and the rear windows stay intact.
You know what may happen? Pressure may build up in there, and he may have a relatively good aerodynamic flow.
I doubt it. Is that the real Fabio?
Derek, you were making a point earlier about the Audis and the fact that perhaps, or conjecture, that if they sweep the thing as they appear to be, they might just get out of the game.
What do they do? We had Len Hunt, Vice President of Audi North America, up here with us about 1 o'clock this morning here, and I asked him, you know, how long do you stick this out? Does success dictate the length of time you stay in racing? And he said no at the time, but if you dominate to this extent, you can only go down from here. So I wonder, would this be good and bad for Audi, maybe good for Cadillac if Audi decide not to continue with such a successful steamroller? And I will almost tell you, when Porsche saw how strong Audi were this year, maybe that was one of the reasons why that prototype was put on hold.
It seems hard to believe that they would. I mean, it's worth making conjecture that they might, but on the other hand, all the vice presidents and chief executives who've been up here this weekend have all stressed the importance of competition, from Michelin to the General Motors people, for the Corvette to the Cadillac, have all stressed that competition is great for them as well as good for their competitors and good for the fans and the public reaction. So one would hope that even if they do have a clean sweep this year, that they would be back again next year to try and repeat.
And I'm sure many people listening to us also realize the ACO may suddenly level the playing field by changing the rules as they did at the end of last year. We are back on Speed Vision, live, unprecedented coverage of the Le Mans 24-hour race. Just to expand a little bit, David, on our last comment. Last year, BMW came here and won.
And didn't come back. And Greg Kramer made the point, you know, that they kind of said, well, why would we go back? Because if we come back and we lose, what have we achieved? We come here, we win, and we go away and we've won.
And the year before that, Porsche won and
didn't come back.
Didn't come back either. So that could be a valid question because of the dominance of Audi this year. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. 365 laps. They are 24 laps ahead of the next non-Audi car, which is the Courage. Oh, we have the Panoz cars.
We were saying last night that everybody here works so hard, they get so tired. And of course, this race starts and ends late, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And of course, as I said last night, yeah, for everybody else, we can all go home. These guys in the pits here, they got to clear all this stuff up and load up all those trucks, the transporters, take everything down and go home.
And there's the animal himself with our animal.
Thanks, Derek. Derek Daly still calling you an animal, Michele. Great performance. You're smiling. It must have been a great time out there, but you're going to fall a little short.
Yeah, and it's your fault because you promised to come to me around 4 o'clock. I didn't see you. I lost the first position. But anyway, I'm very happy for this result because we worked so hard in the last 2 years for this. And finish like this is a great thing for Audi and for all the people here.
The team have done such a superb job. It seems that they really looked at every angle. You tested in the heat. You tested at the bumps of Sebring with the race there. You went everywhere. You went to high-speed tracks. And ultimately, you come here with a car which is so successful.
Yes, and we was prepared to find here a strong competition like last year with BMW, Mercedes and Toyota. But maybe they see our car at the beginning of the year, they didn't come.
How about next year? You have a contract signed with Reinhold?
No, I have no contact with Reinhold. I just shake hands because I want to see if I stay good or not. I don't want to think it too much at my age.
You must feel good about your own performance, though. You were out there for stinting. Times were immaculate. You got to feel good.
I feel very good and very pleased. And I would like to see the opposite number and the finish, but it's okay. I will try again maybe next year.
Okay, Michele. Great job this weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a gem he is. Now remember, he almost became the Formula One world champion driving for Ferrari back in 1985. And of course, he had a great day in Las Vegas when he won the US Grand Prix driving a Tyrrell. Remember that day when Benetton? You were there, were you? Yeah. Yeah.
It was extraordinary. And you notice already
there is Jost
forming up for the photographs, the two Vipers traveling together. The Japanese Panoses have been together for more than an hour now, and you can see the two Audis.
And here's the formation. Here is the formation that we mentioned earlier on. McNish tucks in behind. So McNish has now given up the ghost. Well, in fact, he knew about an hour ago that it was not going to be. But this is what we did in 1988 with the Jags, ran in formation for the last 3 to 4 laps. It was a great day because as we went down the Mulsanne Straight, there was a group of English guys with Union Jacks who waved at me every time we went by. So I waved back. There was about 4 people. Next lap, there was about 10 people. I waved again. Next lap, there was about 25 people. And at the end of the day, at the end of the race, because I waved, there was a huge grandstand that gathered with Union Jacks to share the glory of Jaguar that day. But I mean, that is the type of emotion that is wrapped up in this event here. And I guarantee you there will be many, many German flags flying as these 3 Audis run in formation, as the Vipers seem to be. We have now just over 12 minutes to go of the Le Mans 24-hour race. Celebration down in the Audi pit. What a demonstration of superiority they have shown everybody globally, not just the speed of this car, not just the reliability when you don't run the things off the road, but when they do make mistakes and put themselves off the road, the demonstration of the ability of this team to react and fix the car is just remarkable.
But I will say this, not to take anything away from their obviously great and historic victory, because any victory at Le Mans is a fantastic achievement. They've got to beat Porsche before they can really wear the crown honestly, because as you've said, Porsche has won 16 of these. They have been the dominating and defining force in sports car racing in the last couple of decades, and until you beat them, you haven't really done it. It's also interesting that Jost and Audi have mated their 2 organizations, blended and melded them together to create this team. So we're seeing a triumph that is part Audi's first, but very much part Jost's 5th.
Yes, it is. He already has 4 wins. Audi have never won here. You can see it. We now have 9 minutes, just over 9 minutes to go. It has been a crushing victory. Crushed everybody.
Absolutely crushing.
And just remember that there, excuse me, David, just a sec, among that crowd standing at the pit wall are 4 men who have worked for Yost for more than 25 years. Just consider that.
This is a great day. 25 laps. They will finish ahead of the next non-Audi car. The highest placed Panoz car is the one driven by Johnny O'Connell, Pierre-Henri Raffinel, and Cato. They ran quite well, but just nowhere near the pace. They have done 341 laps to the 367 laps of the Audi. Then you move down to the highest GTS finisher. That should be, if we hold station, the Chrysler Viper, the number 51 car. The number 51 car is Dominic Dupuis, Olivier Beretta, and Carl Wendlinger. That was a fight that really went on for most of the night and just got diffused. In about the last 2 hours, the Corvettes began to drop back just a little bit. As Ron Fellows told us, they need to digest all their information and work out why the Vipers just seem to be better in the pits and have better fuel consumption.
That Courage, of course, has been an inspiration for everybody. 4th overall, with 342 laps, as you say, 25 laps behind the leader, but with that relatively new, small 3.2-litre turbocharged Peugeot engine. So a fantastic effort from Henri Pescarolo's little group there to get an incredible run, really.
Best performance by what you might call a privateer.
Absolutely.
By a country mile. I mean,
and they had quite a few problems as well.
Yeah, with the factory participation that swarms around them. Panoz, Audi, Chrysler, Corvette,
Panoz,
Cadillac.
Very disappointed again, I would imagine, because the 2 highest, well, their number 12 car is in 5th place, but then poor old David Brabham, Mario Andretti, and Jan Magnussen are finishing way down the list there in 11th spot, in a 16th spot.
Look at this. Look at this. The GT guys are catching them. This
well,
is
I
a
guess at
parade
this
here.
stage they're trying to maneuver it so they only have to do 1 more lap. And I think they've sort of got it wrong because there's about 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, it is a timed race, remember.
The race.
Wave to the boys. And look at the Vipers. Right ahead of the 3 Vipers are in their own parade. Now, very often...
There's the Porsche with the windscreenless Porsche.
Yeah.
Because he's going to keep hoofing it because he doesn't want to get that... He doesn't want to be passed.
Take the picture quick. Take the picture quick. A Porsche passing Audi.
These 2 guys here are racing for position.
Are they?
They had to struggle to get by those...
And now they're going to have to struggle. They were being caught in a manufacturer sandwich because now they've got to get by the Vipers.
That's for a podium finish in the GT class.
The Oreca Vipers are just ahead of these. What a demonstration they have put on too. The 51, 52, and 53 car. Remember, they won the Daytona 24-hour race outright. Piero leads the parade here. Piero's only been here 3 times. He was with Yost in '99 with the Audi. He was with the McLaren Formula 1 GTR. That was the Gulf Davidoff car in '98. And then he wasn't here since 1981 in the Lancia Beta. Remember that car, David?
He's 38 years old.
What?
He's 38 years old. He's been around.
These guys have slowed right down now. They're determined not to have to do another lap. They're going to have to go incredibly slowly. They've still got 4.5 minutes to go. And those 2 Porsches are really duking it out for second in that GT class. They're just 0.3 of a second apart as they crossed the line last time.
So the GT class,
so they're getting muddled up with all these other guys who are slowing down for the photo finish. And these poor devils are trying to race for a position.
On this team, the Audis have 2 Germans, 2 Frenchmen, 3 Italians, 1 Dane, 1 Englishman.
And a traffic jam behind him. That is Didier Thays.
If I was Didier, I'd just hang right in there.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be in the photographs as well.
Look, are they waving?
They want him out of it.
They are. They're waving to everybody already.
Well, they're fixed.
4 minutes. Just over 4 minutes to go. They need to run very, very slowly.
They are. The speed they're going, they'll be okay.
Yeah, because if they go any faster than this, remember they have loads and loads of laps over everybody else. Didier Thays, he's going to pass them.
That's good.
Just going to get out of their way. Let them share the glory just among themselves.
And get another lap.
And Didier will get another lap. You're right. This again is the long Mulsanne chicane. All the track marshals, although the race is not officially over, will come out and wave to these people. Track marshals, that means, are part of the 4,000 people who come to work here free of charge at the Le Mans 24-hour race.
Right behind them now is the 83 GT car of Bob Wallach, Lucas Law, and Dirk Muller, and I think he probably will wait behind these guys to get his picture.
160 countries tuned in to watch portions of the Le Mans 24-hour race. Just last year, there were 2,700 press credentials issued here at the racetrack last year alone.
Well, Audi led at the beginning. There was a brief hiccup during which Panoz took the lead during a pace lap situation. They have led since then.
Monsieur Martin there has been the clerk of the course here and the official starter and finisher of this race for many, many, many years.
There's the boys. That was Akira Ida. We saw him earlier on, waving to the crowd also in that Panoz car. Delighted to bring those Japanese cars home. 6 drivers in those 2 Panoz cars. Here's a way to get yourself into the photograph at the end. Just follow the boys home.
All queuing up to get in the photo.
Over the top of the hump. Will we ever see that again? They're talking about taking it away. 4 Chrysler cars get to finish this event.
Because now with that chicane, they really hardly need take that hump away because they're just not going that fast.
Oh, the Cadillac is running. Just about.
We said the Audis would be favored, and they have been, but the way they achieved what they've achieved, no one could have predicted. The exciting pit work during the night.
Oh, these guys are going to have to go around again.
You know what? Yes. Is it? Ah, they got to go again.
Yeah,
there's still 1.5 minutes.
That's the 2 Panoz. Are going to have to go around again of the Team Dragon.
There is the
Bob Wallach hanging in to the back of the 3 leaders.
Oh, something's happened.
Something spun down there.
Look at this
Babini.
here. Babini's car is slowly falling to pieces. They're hitting each other.
Oh,
well, that's pretty.
Look at that car is literally falling to pieces.
Yep.
Babini gave it a kind of gratuitous slam there.
Babini is still shown as the second place finisher in that GT class. But is it over yet?
I suspect that'll... No, it isn't over yet.
It's not officially over yet. They got to do another lap.
I suspect that'll change when that scoring gets itself into gear. He's just been overtaken by that 73 car.
Look at that. Piero can now feel it.
Babini was acting like a baboony there when he swerved over.
He was.
It's a bit sick-making to be overtaken at a 24-hour race with 48 seconds to go.
Remember, this did not come easy. This was more than $100 million investment to come here and to try and win this race. In the test here back in April, Alan McNish was the fastest. However, while trying to be the fastest, he actually crashed at the end of the test. They went to Sebring and they dominated Sebring. However, they did have brake problems at Sebring, so that was a concern. They then put this particular car away, ran the older version for some of the American Le Mans Series races. So these cars have not raced since that victory at Sebring. They bring them back out again here, having tested all over the world. Throughout Europe, they then went to South Africa for high temperature testing. And this is when it all pays off. This is when the check begins to pay dividends. The huge investment begins to return the dividends because Audi makes such a statement about their abilities, their technology, and the quality of their vehicles.
And although it seems absurd to call any one of these cars a tortoise and another one a hare, it was really the tortoise that is winning the race.
Down into the Porsche curves. This is a 175-mile-an-hour right-hander into a left-hander that when you have it all right, you can almost go too flat. And this is Babini, I believe.
And his sparring partner.
No, I don't think it was a sparring partner. That is the Perspective Racing Porsche of Pierre, Ricci, and Ricci. So they're waiting. They're waiting for the cavalcade to pass them so as they do not have to do another lap. That was Tommy Kendall's car. The Conrad car on top. He doesn't mind having to do another lap.
Why would he? Well, maybe he won't have to do it.
Tommy Kendall was not in that car, but he did share that car.
Bob Wallach isn't going to fall for that trick, or whoever's driving. I think Dirk Muller actually is driving that car at the moment. He's waiting.
Look at that. Remember,
it's now
this
over.
is only the 4th time in Le Mans history that we have seen a 1, 2, 3 by a single
24 hours,
Fantastic.
1 minute, 46 seconds are over. The Jeanette car will make its way back out for this last lap just to be classified as a runner. But look at this procession here. I've never seen a slower lap. Have you seen a slower lap?
He has accepted a flag, which is being waved now.
That's what he did.
He slowed down, picked up a flag from one of the flag
You don't
workers.
often see that at the Le Mans 24-hour race.
An Audi flag.
Is it an Audi flag or a German flag or an Italian flag? It's an Audi flag. It is an Audi flag.
Well, what a
That is terrific.
coincidence.
They publish their own newspaper.
What about this?
They have a flag ready for their men. They have thought of every detail.
So Emanuele Pirro, the man who only came here 3 times in the past, leads a very impressive cavalcade, a formation, a parade of Audi R8 racing cars, the most dominant performance we probably have ever seen at the Le Mans 24-hour race, and he is virtually out of the cockpit with delight. There it is, first, second, and third. What a freight train performance.
As the cars that crossed the line 24 hours ago at high speed now cross that same line at a crawl.
Brian Oldiost giving them just a little subtle salute there.
You know what, if Emanuele Pirro could get out of that car right now, he would do it. Belts are undone, he's virtually standing in the cockpit, and he doesn't need to go any further. Stop right there. No victory lap. Stay right there. Share the victory, share the spoils. Alan McNish came oh so close. He's regarded as the lead driver, as the fastest driver, and just came up short because of an accident. Calvin, you're right with the man.
Reinhold, congratulations here on the pit wall. Reinhold has been 2 years in the making, and you had perfection here this weekend, a 1, 2, 3. How does it feel?
This is so good, this feeling. This minute, I cannot tell you.
Tell us about the pressure. You came in here as the overwhelming favorite, and you really had the pressure on, the tire debris, everything going on throughout the night, 2 gearboxes you had to change. How did it feel?
It was a lot of work, but the result is important, you know? So
Will you be back here next year with Audi?
Absolutely.
Okay, great job this weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, too. Bye.
Reinhold Jost. So many great drivers have been through his class, his cars, his workshop, his office. When he calls any driver, there's Tom Christensen. He gets to share it. Of course, Tom Christensen set fastest lap of the race at about 9 hours in, so he really put the gauntlet down also to Alan McNish's car, the number 9 car. But Frank Biela, Tom Christensen, and Emanuele Pirro shared the winning Audi in the most impressive performance by a manufacturer at the Le Mans 24-hour race that we have seen in recent memory.
And there you see a phalanx of Panoz, the 2 factory cars, the red ones, and the 2 white Japanese cars, the Dragon team.
There is Frank Biela. Frank Biela, of course, has been involved for many years with the Audi Super Touring program throughout Europe, and now he moves into the prototype cars, and what a way to celebrate.
He finished 3rd here last year.
British touring car champion a few years back, and of course Len Hunt, who's now the president of Audi America, was the managing director of Audi UK when Frank Biela won that championship. So a lot of friendship there between the hierarchy at Audi and of course their driver Frank Biela, and of course all these drivers now will be very much favoured sons. And I think that Michele Alboreto at 43 may well find himself back here at the age of 44, because he ran tremendously well yesterday evening.
Wow. This is one of the great moments of motorsports. This is one of the great celebrations of motorsports. And Calvin is right in the middle of the mix. Calvin?
Well, I'm with one of the other winning drivers, Derek. I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, Tom Christensen, 2 times now with Jost. What are your feelings?
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Yes, I've raced three races, 97 Le Mans, Sebring this year, and then Le Mans get 3 races, 3 wins. I mean, unbelievable. The Audi is running fantastic. Such a great car. And then we win all 3 cars, 1, 2, 3. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Great, congratulations, mate. Perfect performance.
Thanks a lot.
Great job, Calvin. Christensen has also only been here 3 times, but he has come with some good teams. With the Jost Porsche that was built by Tom Walkinshaw back in '97, and of course with the BMW last year. And there is the Chrysler. There is an impressive Chrysler Group. They're the boys. Congratulations for their hard work too. And Calvin now has Emanuele Pirro, Frank Vila.
We have the other winning driver, Frank. If we can just get a quick word with you, mate. Congratulations all the way around. The team has just gone crazy here. It's pandemonium down here on the start-finish line. That's Ralph Yurtner, the team manager. Frank, what are your feelings?
It's just great, I tell you. We were working for it very hard, and it's just fantastic.
Great performance. We're going to try and get with Ralph.
Ralph Yurtner, of course, is the team manager. He is the orchestrator of what happens down there. Emanuele Pirro, of course, drove the car across the line. But great celebration here for the GTS winners also.
Ralph, 3 years ago, you said the preparations for Le Mans begin the next day. It's taken you 3 years, but what a performance by you and the whole team here.
I'm really happy. It was a lot of work. And I think at the end of the day, we worked fantastic together. The team and Audi Sport and all the people involved.
Is it tougher being the favorite?
Pardon?
Is it tougher being the favorite, the overwhelming favorite?
It was very tough. That really was the first time for me. And I like it the other way around much better. But if you have a result like this, that's great.
Okay, thanks very much. Go enjoy it.
Okay, yeah, we will do, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they will too. There'll be an awful lot of beer being drunk tonight.
The 5th consecutive victory by a German firm at Le Mans.
Bring out the Lederhosen, fill the beer, and turn on the Umpa music, because there are celebrations across Germany.
Sure. Derek, the winners are taking to the bridge that stretches out right over the start-finish straight.
And it might look easy now because these boys are physically in such good condition. But remember, today's race was not won yesterday or today. This is years of development and design and engineers and drivers and testing around the world to get to this situation. The effort it goes into from the drivers in particular to get onto the rostrum. Remember, we saw Justin Bell in the Corvette collapse. The physical effort was so great to try and get himself onto this rostrum.
And these are not, here are the winners. These are not younger men, many of them. There are a couple of young men on the Audi squad. The rest are in their 30s. Michele Alboreto was in his 40s. They went for, the Yost team and Audi went for experience over youth, and it has paid off big.
Emanuele Pirro, of course, one of the leading drivers, is 38 years old. He first raced here in 1981. Tom Christensen first came here with Reinhold Yost, what, 3 years ago? Boom, wins it straight off. So he's a two-time winner, first time for Emanuele Pirro.
There's an old adage that you get back out of things what you put into them. And certainly Le Mans bears that out year after year. We have seen the team that put the most into this race come back with the most. They took the checkered and the 1, 2, 3. We'll be right back.
And Viper going head-to-head. That is history. And even in the GT division, some remarkable stuff when you think about the comeback drive of the number 82 Scania International entry of Mollem, Maassen, and Murray after an early accident to come back into the top 3. Sam?
You see some wonderful footage shot before the war. That's Nürburgring footage of the Audi, of the auto unions of the day. They were rear-engine cars, fabulously designed. And now you see some more contemporary designs of one kind or another. And this, of course, is a race where technology has in many ways determined the future of and outcome of the race. Now, a 24-hour event like this, a television event, demands a high degree of commitment from all involved. And I would like to thank especially Woods Communication for providing our technical facilities here at the track, the Lingner Group, whose staff prepared so carefully and brought such creativity to our production, the Speed Vision crew back in Connecticut, who has worked with us throughout this very long day, and of course the announcers, Derek Daly. Derek, thank you so much. David Hobbs, Greg Kramer in the booth now, Alan DeCadenet, Andrew Marriott, Calvin Fish, Dorsey Schroeder, Steve Evans, Guy Hobbs. Great job, guys. I think a last thought, Derek, the emotions flow at a time like this when you're tired and you've seen something really amazing.
Emanuele Pirro just got up and addressed the crowd and said, "We will be back next year. I wonder, will Porsche be here? Will we have another tremendous German battle?"
David?
No, I think as we said early on, the bar has been raised to new heights by the incredible effort by Audi and Yost this year, and it's going to take an incredible team to beat these guys next year.
So this is Sam Posey saying so long from Western France and a place called Le Mans.